Guys, in this video we are going to take a few minutes to show you how to clean the Canik MC9 Prime. This is a gun that I have done a few videos on my channel recently. We also headed out to the range recently, and I wanted to go ahead and clean it up after that range session. Before we get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would like the video, share the video on your social media, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment down below. This gun has a lot of interesting features that I cover in some of those videos, so be sure to go over and check them out. The first thing that you want to do with any firearm that you're going to clean is you want to make sure that it is unloaded. So we're going to drop the mag. You can see there is no ammo in that mag. We're going to open that action and lock it back, and we're going to make sure that there is no ammunition in the chamber. Also, you do not want to have any ammo in the area where you're working either, because you don't want to take and inadvertently put a round in a magazine or whatever. Whenever you're working on firearms, just remove ammo from the area, make it much safer that way. So once we do that, what you need to remember, these are very similar to the Glocks as far as takedown. I'm going to go ahead in a safe direction. I'm going to press the trigger, and I'm going to grip the gun like this. You've got these tabs here on the sides, just like that. So what you'll do is pull back slightly, pull down on those tabs, move the slide just ever so slightly forward. You can see there it does not have to be much, and the slide will come off of the frame. They're not going to slide all the way off completely, but they will go about halfway and then lift up off of the frame, and you have everything apart. Right there we have the slide, the barrel, the guide rod. So now I'm going to remove the guide rod, and the way that I do this is I simply hook my thumb over the back of that guide rod and spring, push forward slightly and lift up, and it lifts right out. So we're going to set that aside. I'm going to push up on that barrel hood and then pull it out of the slide just like that. And this is as far as you need to go for cleaning most of your firearms. Now, what I always do is I'll get some paper towels and lay something down to where I can have something to catch the cleaner that I have here. And again, for me, what I'm going to do, since this is not very dirty, I'm just going to take some cleaner and I'm going to soak that barrel down real good. And again, just to soak it down, get plenty of it in there, and let it do its thing. Once I get the barrel good and soaked, I just set it aside and just let that cleaner work. I'll then take the frame and doing basically the same thing here, just give it a good soaking and give it plenty of time to work as well. Once I get the frame sprayed on the slide, what I want to do is make sure that I don't get any back here where the firing pin is. I always will keep the spray, the cleaners and solvents and everything up here away from this. If you get cleaners, oils and things like that in there with your firing pin, it's going to attract debris and it's going to cause you some light primer strikes. So do not do that. Okay, make sure that you keep it dry in this area. But I will take the cleaner and I'm going to spray up in the front of the slide just like this. And once I get some of that up in there, I'm going to grab a brush just like this, and I want to get up underneath those rails and I want to scrub to break up any of that buildup that can be up in there. And there again, guys, that cleaner that I sprayed up here, there will be plenty of it on the brush to be able to pull it back to where I need it to be. And I want to do both sides just like that. Just get in there and scrub. You can use an old toothbrush. I prefer these. That way you have that little bit of a brush that you can really get in there with. So I will put some links in this video to where you can go over and pick you up a couple of cleaning utensils as far as cleaning kits and things like that. So be sure to check those out. And once you get everything scrubbed, it does not need to be ignored. Now, there's something that you do not need to ignore, and that is your extractor. Right in here, if I can get it to focus, this little hook that's right here on the firearm. If you get a lot of buildup in that, as far as debris, carbon, and things like that, you can have some failures to extract. So you want to make sure that you clean up in there real well. Make sure that you get all of that out. Scrub that breech face real good, and make sure that you don't have any buildup on that extractor. And then just kind of look over everything, make sure that it is the way that it needs to be, that extractor is not loose. Make sure that your sights are not loose. Any of the screws, right here is the plate for the optic that I don't have on this. You want to make sure that the sights, both front and rear, are where they need to be. And it's also a good idea to pay close attention up to the area where the comp is on this. Just because of the way that this gun can do, you can get a lot of buildup up there. So you can just take your brush, clean it out just like this to make sure that you get all of that stuff out of your gun. And then just take a paper towel and wipe it down just like this. Now, one thing that we are going to do here in just a moment, as you can see that breech face, well, just a little bit of buildup on it, and we've got that off. Now, one thing that I also like to do as well is take some Q-tips, and you can use some swabs, but I just prefer Q-tips just mainly because they're cheaper. Get a big box of these for little or nothing. Take a couple of Q-tips, and again, we're going to hit the slide with just a little bit of a spritz on those rails. Not much, just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my Q-tip and I'm going to get up here on that rail real good. And I want to make sure that I clean any of that buildup out. And you can see there's not a lot up in there after going through it with that brush. This is something that you do not necessarily have to do all the time. It just really depends on how clean you want to keep your gun. I do like keeping mine fairly clean, but I'll have to say I don't white glove them or anything like that. If I'm not going to shoot one for a while, I will sometimes go through, scrub it real good, clean it up real good, and then put it up. Again, just going through here, making sure that I don't have any of the Q-tip come off, because I don't want any of that cotton or anything to get jammed up in my gun and cause problems. Now I'm going to take the frame, and just like what you've seen me do before, I'm going to take that brush, I'm going to get inside that rail. There again, I don't want any buildup on the components where they work together. You know, just scrub it all off real good, just like this. Get right down in there. And again, looking over to make sure that there's nothing bent, that there's nothing broken, that everything is the way that it needs to be. The Canik MC9 Prime is a very interesting looking gun. It is one of those guns that, again, just come out new on the market. It is an American made gun, and I am real glad to have one. Let's go ahead and get down here inside the magazine well, get all of that cleaned up real well. Just check over everything. As you can see there, all the mechanisms, and we're going to set that down as well. And now we're going to turn our attention to the guide rod and the spring. You don't really need to do anything to these other than just wipe them off. Okay, it does not necessarily need any kind of lubrication or anything like that. You know, and just look it over. Make sure that there is no bends or anything like that on the spring. Make sure everything is the way that it should be. Okay, we're going to set that aside and turn our attention back to the barrel. Okay, one thing that I'll do is just go ahead, take some more of your cleaner, hit it again with that barrel, and that barrel, just like that. I'm going to take my brush, and when I push this brush through there, I'm actually going to twist it. And the reason I do that is just to kind of help pull some of that stuff off. You don't necessarily have to. This, having that comp, I'm going to spend just a little bit of time there on that just to try to help get some of the mess out of that comp. Okay, you want to make sure you get it cleaned out real good. Wipe that off. Look for any bulges or cracks or anything like that on your barrel. If you have any cracks or anything, stop using it immediately. Okay, you need to replace that barrel. You don't want to take the chance of something happening with your firearm and you know, causing yourself an injury or anything like that. Just up here where the comp is, I'm going to take my brush and just get in there as well, just to kind of scrub over that a little bit, just to make sure that I get any kind of buildup out. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with my barrel brush again and just make sure I don't have any obstructions. Okay, I do not want to have any obstructions in that barrel. Just kind of look it over. You can see down through there how it looks, and there we go. You can run a couple of patches down through there, just whatever you like to do. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. I don't have a large round count through this gun. I do have a few rounds through it. If you guys have gone over and seen the range video, you know, of course I've had more rounds through it than what is shown in that video, but you know, it's still not a very high count, at least not yet, but that's going to change. You can see that Prime label right there on top of that barrel. Now, once we have everything done, everything clean, I'll come in with some oil. This is cleanse oil. This is one of the oils that I really like. And we're going to go ahead and put a few drops in some key component areas, such as back here on the frame, this mechanism here. Now, I'll admit I have a little bit of a tendency to over oil my guns if I'm not going to be shooting them for a while. This one I probably will be. You know, this is something that I really like. In fact, I may carry this gun if I can find a little bit better holster. Now, I have to say, the holster that it comes with, I'm not the happiest with it. It works. I'll have to say that it does work, but it's not necessarily what I would consider to be the best holster you could get for this gun. Again, just go ahead, clean this out, wipe this out a little bit. And remember what I said, no oil back here in this area. But I will take a little bit up to the front of the rail, probably more than I need, like that. And I'm also going to take a little bit of oil and put it on the barrel and then spread it around. Okay, get that up there on there and just spread it around just like that. Make sure you put a little up on that hood and so on. Not too much, but you know, it's not necessary to have them too awful wet, but me personally, as you know, guns are expensive. I like to take care of mine, and I will put them up just a little bit wet. You know, it's not necessarily a requirement or anything. It's just I want that added protection on them. Again, checking that extractor, making sure that there is nothing blocking it. And I'm going to take the barrel. I'm going to insert the barrel back into the slide, lock it in just like that. Okay, and I'm going to take my recoil spring and guide rod. Make sure of the ledge that it goes onto. Okay, don't get confused by how this is made. You want to make sure that you get it onto the right ledge and get this oriented into the right direction. So I'm going to put it in place just like that, and then I'm going to take my thumb, I'm going to press forward and down on that recoil spring and guide rod, and I need to go down one more. That is not where this goes. It goes down actually one more right there. Okay, you don't want to put that together wrong because it can cause you a bit of an issue. But you know, just get it set in place and get it right where it needs to be. And now we're going to take the frame and the slide, and remember, you're not going to be able to get this together by starting up here. It is not going to work. Okay, you've got to come back about halfway, just like it was when we took it apart. You come back about halfway and just right over that kicker right there. If I can get it back in place myself. And now again, guys, I'm looking through the camera viewfinder, so bear with me just a moment. Let me change from my angle a little bit, and you can kind of see where we are as far as how far back we are when we go to put this together. Okay, as I mentioned, if you try to start up here and slide that back, it's not going to work. You're going to have problems. It is just not going to work. You need to come in from about halfway, set it down where it needs to be, just like that, and make sure that it is right all the way around. pull it back, cycle that action, just like that. Now, we want to make sure that it is going to function properly. So I'm going to point it in a safe direction. I'm going to press that trigger and listen for that click. Once that click happens, I'm going to hold that trigger, and then I'm going to cycle that action. And once I cycle that action, I'm going to release that trigger and listen for the click. And you heard it right there. And we are good to go, guys. Once I get it to that point, I'll just take a paper towel, wipe over everything just to get some of that excessive oil off. And that is pretty much it. You know, it really depends on how detailed you want to be with your guns. Me personally, I think that is probably about all that you really need to do. Again, it may be just a little wet sometimes when I put them up, but you know, I want to protect them because I want to be able to enjoy them for years to come. But guys, that is the basic cleaning process for the Canik MC9 Prime. Absolutely gorgeous little gun, I'll have to say. You can see it right there, that MC9, the Canik Meta on the side of it. It has Prime right there in that window. Yeah, a little bit oily. We can wipe that out real quick. Those sights, I think that they work very well for what they are. It is a very grippy gun. It does feel good in the hands. When you're carrying it, that stippling, if it's up against bare skin, you're going to know that. You know, I talk about that in the range video with this gun. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, share the video, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Check out all the links down below, and we'll see you next time.